So there are a ton of players who come up with a million ideas on why they're not improving. It's like, oh, it's either the typical teammate excuse, or it's like, yeah, the draft was trash, or, you know, we couldn't end at 20 minutes when we picked Trow. All these things are the reason. I'm going to make your life very easy if you're a support player on why you're not improving. If you have thousands of matches and you're not getting better, take a look at these things rather than all the mumbo jumbo that you think is complex and that you don't understand. The complex ideas are simply a distraction for what actually needs improvement. Trust me. So I'm going to be going over 6 different topics that you should load into a replay and look at. Or just in your next game, instead of lollygagging about and complaining that, you know, we aren't hitting the tier 2 mid, or we aren't roshing, or, you know, we dove high ground again. Instead of complaining about all these things, take a look at your individual performance, your individual actions, and you'll notice some results. So let's get into it. Do you want to carry your games but always find yourself stuck in the support role? On gameleap.com, we have the tools you need to take control of your games as a Pause 4 and Pause 5. With hundreds of guides covering hero specifics and key concepts like ganking and lane control, GameLeap is the place to unlock your potential as a support player. Hit the discount link in the description below to start today. First off is zoning and pulling in lane. So I made an entire video about it. If you haven't seen it yet, it is about the Undying. It has CM as the thumbnail, and I go over my zoning as Undying and zoning from a Crusader replay. If you cannot ever win a single lane by more than 2 levels, you are not taking proper action to put yourself in an advantageous position. Now, can you win every single laning stage? No, it's not going to happen. In fact, in a lot of lanes, you shouldn't win. Can you? Probably. But let's say, you know, you're laning against an Enchantress Undying as, you know, Spectre and Oracle. Are you going to beat them hard? Probably not. Right? Unless you're the god of last hitting and you're way above your bracket. But I've seen people in a Slark lane with something like a Slark Warlock lose to a Wraith King off lane. Why does this happen? Why does this happen? Why aren't you beating him by 2 or 3 levels? And it could be, oh, it's my carry. Yeah, you could say that. Or you could ask yourself, am I pulling? Have I even once manipulated the creep wave? Have I stood around for more than 3 to 5 seconds, not knowing what to do? Am I playing in the trees? Have I casted my spells? Did I buy absolutely garbage starting items like everyone always does for some unknown reason to me? Right? Are you zoning and pulling properly? That is the question. Look at your hero. Say, oh, could I fit in a right click here? Could I have popped my clarity when I went to go pull because I didn't buy a clarity to use it while I'm trading? I want to use it when I'm not trading. Did I combine my spells with my carry? Did I work together with the carry? These are the questions to ask, not if, you know, you combine your perfect master plan in the drafting and strategy phase. Number 2 is warding. So I've also have a video on some warding spots. Haven't talked in extreme depth about warding in general, but there are definitely tons of videos and talking points in all the support videos that you'll most likely see. And that is because warding is one of those things where if you understand how to ward, it means you understand Dota, right? Because warding has to be predicated on what your team wants to do. You have to understand, what does my enemy want to do? What does my allies want to do? What do I want to do? So if you place wards with intent, and every single time you place a ward, you can go back in the replay and let's say we were talking and you can justify to me why you placed it, then you're in a good spot. But if you throw down a ward and the only thing you could say is, I wanted vision of this area, and have no further explanation of why you wanted vision in that area, then you need to start thinking, hey, maybe I'm actually not warding in places that helps my team. Maybe I'm just throwing it down at the rune spot, even though, you know, I have an invoker mid who doesn't actually care about the runes, and we're actually playing the top side of the map that has nothing to do with this bottom side ward I just placed. In fact, look, it didn't see anyone, right? One test I like to ask people is, what information did the ward actually give? So if you go into your replay, it's pretty boring, but you can, no joke, act as a ward. Just cosplay a ward. Whichever one you place down, if you feel like it was good or bad regardless, you just look for the next 5 minutes or its duration. What did you see? Was it useful? If not, don't place it again. And the second half is, am I warding for objectives? Did I ward every single time we fought, right? Or am I holding them? Am I taking too long to buy them? Am I smoking to place them down? when, you know, my team isn't using them for advantageous plays, might as well smoke to get down some deep wards. All these little things are really good questions to ask yourself, so I implore you to do so. Number 3 is positioning in team fights. This one's actually huge for me because I think it's unbelievably overlooked by support players. Like, I can't understand why supports think it's okay to die in team fights. They're like, they committed ravage on me, stupid Tide. Like, dude, no, you're dead now. Like, you're dead. Now you're the Oracle and your Void's getting jumped and you can't false promise him because you thought it was okay to sit in the front line, and you're going to make an excuse and say, yeah, I baited spells, right? The Void committed time walk on me. 6-second cooldown, let's go. Woo! But like, I'm serious. I'm honestly serious. How you need to look at positioning at a base value is, if my cores are behind me and I'm in front of them, there is most likely something wrong unless you are smoke ganking and you happen to be like a lion who needs to initiate, right? If you are pushing high ground and you notice yourself stepping onto the high ground or moving past your teammates or even in line with them, and you are a squishy backline support like Shaman, Oracle, Warlock, etc., like the majority of 5s are, Wyvern, CM, doesn't matter, then you need to ask yourself, am I dying for an actual good reason? Or am I dying because I'm positioning lazily? Am I simply out of position? And you can even combine it with the last point. Am I positioning around my wards? Or am I simply just walking out into places that we have no vision of? And am I not looking at the mini-map, right? Am I just simply tunnel visioning on casting my spells? And talking about casting my spells, I'm going to segue that into the 4th point, is actually just casting spells. And yes, it's because it's very much in combination with positioning in fights. For the majority of 5 and even 4 heroes, you need to ask yourself, am I getting my spells off? If you do not get your spells off, you're probably positioning wrong, and vice versa. If you're not positioning well, you're not going to cast your spells. If you're not casting your spells, you're probably not positioning well. They go hand in hand. And as a result, this is brutally important for supports. If there's one thing that I think is the easiest thing to learn, or that a lot of players learn from intuition rather than actually focusing on improvement, it's this. I'm sure you guys have seen the clips of or videos of Purge teaching slacks. You might be like, well, how in the world is this guy who probably doesn't even strategize about Dota or care about drafting at all get better? Do you guys like genuinely think that Slacks thinks about his words or things like this? Maybe. The guy is very intelligent, I'm sure. I'm not dissing Slacks. The point is, he acts like a goofball the whole game, but one thing that Purge acknowledges about him is that he knows how to cast his spells and he knows how to play team fights. He gets his spells off and he commands his team to take team fights, right? He casts his spells properly. It is that one main thing that he does well. He had no idea what to do in the laning stage. It was a very good video. He had no clue what to do, but he had no idea. But does it matter? At the end of the day, does one thing hold you back? No, it's a whole culmination. You can actually carry yourself with certain aspects of Dota, whether it's mentality or mechanics. And in his case, it happened to be, you know, a bit of mentality and things like casting spells and team fights. Number 5 is smoke. So smokes win games, guys. I just want to clarify what smokes actually do. And you might be like, well, I know what they do, Speed. Like, you don't have to tell me what they do. I'm very aware. They make my team basically invisible. Well, what I mean to say is they're good from when you were ahead and behind. It is both. It is not just when you were behind, you have to make desperate smoke plays. It's not just when you're ahead that you have to, you know, close out a game with the smoke. It's both. It's both. I've talked to some players and they seem to think it's only one. It's both. Or just on the other half, they don't use them at all. And I think that's the majority of players. You don't smoke at all. Why not? Do you understand that pros rarely hold these? I don't know if there's a single pro game of late where they haven't bought a smoke. I would be genuinely shocked, surprised. I don't even know what to say if I saw it. This item, it just wins the game. In a pub, people constantly run up high grounds and feed, right? It doesn't matter if it's the Shrine high ground, any random high ground in the jungle, like the main high ground by the tier 3 towers. That's where they feed. And you want to know how you prevent this from happening? Smoke. You want to know how you get your team to Roche? Smoke. You want to know how you get your team to stop jungling? Yeah, you guessed it. You smoke. That's it. Because everyone understands when this purple ball of smoke pops on you, you have to go run and do something. It's like the universal sign of Dota of let's go make a play. And if you do it on your entire team at the 20-minute mark, I guarantee that in 90% of your games, you will find an enemy hero, kill them, and very often what happens in return is the enemy team's like, oh god, and they come take the fight 4v5, and you wipe them. It is very useful, it's very consistent, it wins MMR, and it was something I personally abused from everywhere to 2 to 5k, 6k, 7k. I mean, it's just MMR machines. If you buy more smokes than your opponent, I guarantee you have a higher chance of winning in pubs. And last but not least is one that no one cares about, and I made videos on this. I'm going to continue talking about it till the ends of the earth, but it's communication. Please just get a mic and take a course on like human psychology and basic communication. Because I swear, if you can start to actually present your ideas to your teammates rather than hoping or assuming that they know what you're thinking, which is absolutely absurd, you're going to have success in making calls. And as a position 5 player, you very often want to make the calls because while your teammates are busy, farming away, you need to be looking at the minimap and calling out, hey, you're getting ganked, or hey, maybe we should make a play to take Roshan. These are the things you have to be communicating. And I want to go back to the point about teammates getting ganked and just give a little bit of a tale, I suppose. If you make the argument that you don't need to buy wards because your teammates die anyway, I need you to be able to tell me, did you see the enemy coming to gank your carry as well? Did you see them coming as well? And now the majority of the time, the answer is no. If you don't lie to yourself, the answer is no. You also did not see them because you also were not looking at the minimap. Wards are great, but one of the things that people struggle most with is the ability to pay attention to both what's in front of them, right in front of their actual hero, and the minimap. So as a support player, I highly suggest, instead of expecting your carry to use the ward, you place it down and also use it to protect them. Stop assuming that everyone has to play the game perfectly, right? You have to have the highest impact into the game every single game. And what I mean by that is relative. I don't mean the highest GPM, the highest net worth, the most last hits, but highest relative impact to your role that you can possibly have to go up in MMR. And communication is a big one that no one takes into consideration. So if you can learn to talk properly, talk respectfully, and actually get people to do things, combine this with smokes of deceit, you are going to go up in MMR. And I'm going to wrap up the video there, guys. Hopefully you understand that it's the small things in Dota that actually gain you MMR, right? It's not all this mumbo-jumbo strategy that you might have heard of in the pro scene and how OG ends the game in 20 minutes. You're not going to reciprocate that in your pubs. You're not going to get to 6k, 7k, 8k, 9k, whatever you want, whatever your goal is, by copying OG's macro strategy. You can copy their micro and look at how Ana zones his opponent from the lane, or what items to buy and what skill builds they go, or how they cast their spells. That's fantastic. But stop. Please stop looking at the big picture until you've gotten the small things under control. And thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please do like and subscribe to help our channel grow. Once again, as always, been having a blast. I feel like I say this like half the videos, but I mean it. This has been a great project for me. Hopefully you guys are improving. I've gotten a lot of positive messages from various people and I appreciate them. As always, I'm glad to hear that you guys are getting something out of this just like I am. Yeah, hopefully we can keep this mutually beneficial relationship going for a long time. Peace. Your team does not deserve your support. But holy crap, do they need it? At gameleap.com, we have hundreds of guides teaching you how the best support players in Dota secretly carry their games with awful teammates without them even knowing it. Click on this link right now to take advantage of our special offer for a 25% discount and start your journey today.